Hey there guys, today we're taking a look at the brand new release of the Athearn Genesis Wide Vision Cabooses with Tsunami sound car on board. My example of course is the Santa Fe 39711. So we're going to do the usual, take a look at the details, check out the sound card decoder, see what you get out of the box, and go from there. So let's get the dirty part out of the way. This is an expensive caboose. For a plastic car, well over $100 with DCC and sound. A lot of people were asking, you couldn't go on Facebook without people saying, why do you need sound? Why do you need this? Keep in mind, the sound card decoder is about 65 bucks. Now, in terms of getting this level of detail out of a plastic model, this has not happened since Rapido did their cabooses years ago. You are paying otherwise for brass that you're going to have to retrofit, add lights to, DCC, everything, and then you've doubled your investment. For an out-of-the-box model at around $120, I think this is a very good deal. And we'll get into the decoder as it goes on, but just right off the bat, this is a stunning looking car. Every detail you could want is on there, and it is crawling with fine details, as we'll go over in just a second. Okay, so we'll start down here, but the most important thing to me at least, finally, we have operating end markers on an HO caboose. If O-Gauge has been able to do this for pennies on the dollar for years, HO should have been able to do it a long time ago. Just my 2 cents. But these do work. They are very dim, as you will see, but we'll get into that in the operations segment. But beyond that, everything looks really good. You have a separate cut lever and cut bar. Looks really good. The McHenry couplers, those are going to get ditched for KDs as soon as I can get the box open. The steps are etched metal see-through. Really, really good detail. And we'll do a head-on just so you can kind of dig into things a little bit. This because you see a little finer. It's even got the air whistle stand on top of the railing assembly. This is a really nice touch. Brake rigging looks great. Everything looks phenomenal. While we're here, we'll check out the smokestack and the cupola roof. So as you can see, we have separate windshield wipers applied on the cupola. I know it's a little blurry, but you can still see the black blobs on the window. Kind of a crash bar between the windows and the smokestacks on this side. Moving on down the side, the detail party does not stop. Santa Fe logo looks phenomenal. The colors, this Sony makes the colors appear a little flat. I can assure you it looks awesome in person. It's a very clean red. It blends into most other locomotives. You'll be good to go putting this in your fleet. Carrying on, all the grabs are present. That looks really, really good. It's actually awesome to see these applied out of the box. Got your air tanks, got a few other pieces here. The window looks good, the silver especially. Up top, the windows do open just like the locomotive cabs. So you can see they reused a few of their pieces here, like the side mirrors, the windows. I think these are pretty much carryovers from the locomotive castings. But it's really, really well done. Coming down to the tail end, we'll take a look at the truck. This is the generator piece. Now, just like on the SPs, these do have rotating bearing caps with the exception of the piece with the generator, because that just ain't feasible for rotating bearing cap and a pulley assembly. But beyond that, they look great. They function as intended. No complaints here. Moving on to the head end, well, if you can call it that, if you run your smokestacks in reverse, the story is the same. Everything looks awesome. They appear as little nubs on camera, but these are actually the kind of the equipment lights if you were using it on the real caboose. That's an awesome touch. And while we're here, I'll go ahead and do a close-up of the walkway so you guys can see that. And of course, has a cushion coupler pocket with a plastic airline. These aren't rubber, but that's okay. Just something to keep an eye on if you do take it out of the box a good bit. So final thoughts on detail, they absolutely nailed this car. It looks phenomenal. You will not see this detail in plastic outside of brass, so be very thankful that they decided to go all in on this project and make one worthy of the price. This is absolutely a phenomenal looking car. Okay, for operations segment, I'm going to get one thing out of the way first. I don't know if this is a low brightness CV value or just bad resistors, but the lighting on these cars, you're not going to be able to see it very easy in DCC mode. Now, case in point, I'm going to pop the marker light on this side. And to my eye, it is on, along with the interior light. I'm going to shut the lights off just so you guys can see it better. Yeah, I promise you they are on, but they are absurdly dim. I've cranked the camera up to 10,000 ISO so you can actually see this tail end light. So we'll flip directions. Nice thing, it is directional. Lights do flicker a little bit, but beyond that, it works. I'm going to try to play with the brightness settings or get a better resistor in there because, you know, you kind of want a bright marker light. This is not what I expect out of the box, but it's nice to have the features, and, you know, if need be, we can always adjust that. So that's just something you want to be aware of. The lights are not bright on these things. Alright, so with that on, we're going to go through the function list. Now there is approximately 14 you can mess with. So function 0 is your reverse marker, just to prove this is working. I know it's very, very hard to tell, but it's going on and off. Function 1's bell. We'll go through all these in a minute. F2 is your whistle/horn. Now function 3 and 4 handle lighting effects. Like on the UPs, it was a green and red marker, not really used. So on the Santa Fe's, they are not doing a whole lot of anything. F5 is your interior lights. Which that you will be able to see go on and off. Very faint, but I promise you it's doing it. F6 is also a lighting effect. F7 not used. So F8, of course, is your mute. And pressing it 4 times will do intelligent consisting. So we'll get into that in a minute. F9 is generator. Very quiet out of the box. So we're definitely going to have to crank that volume up a little bit. F10, coupler clank. F11 is apply and release brakes. Now this sound will also apply whenever you consist the caboose, which is kind of a cool feature. F12, uncoupling in your glad hand. So instead of tying it together with a couple uncoupled, you get a separate function with that. And F14 says half speed and momentum override. Okay, so to change horns and bells, we're going to go through this. CV115 is your air horn, and 227 is the bell. So we're going to go through the air horns real quick in ops mode. CV115 value 0. You'll hear that kind of cowbell noise. And I'd like to point out the horn being played is on function 2 only. You don't have the short horn like on function 3 on the normal decoders. Okay, so for the bells, you only have 5 options. The first one, of course, is modern cast, so the default bell you heard. And you can change the ring rate on these, so you're not stuck with that tone. So there you have it. That's the horn and bell demonstration. Overall, you got a good variety depending on what you want to do with it. So for basic operation, this works just like any other decoder would, except without a motor. So right now we're in forward. We're going to give it some throttle. And that's maxed out on factory settings. So after that test, I went ahead and maxed out CV131, which is the clickety-clack volume, to full, 255, and here's what you get. So now you can actually hear it when you're running in consist. So that's definitely a change I would make out of the box. Crank your volume up to full on the clickety-clack if you want to hear it. Otherwise, just mess around with your settings as you see fit. Alright, so to demonstrate the intelligent consisting, the manual says all you got to do is utilize a magnet. So we're going to use a Rapido wand, wave it under the caboose, and then punch in the locomotive number you want to assign it to. So to make this easy, I've got a Tsunami 2 equipped locomotive right here and ready. And we're going to give it a shot on the caboose. So I was trying the Rapido one with no luck, so we're just going to try a speaker and see if that'll get it to work. Alright, so I don't know if I'm doing it incorrectly or what, but using both the speaker to activate the magnet and the Rapido wand have not been able to activate the intelligent consisting. Now, in order to do this, you're supposed to press it 4 times. So we're going to do it the old school way and consist the locomotive first and add in the caboose. So there you have it, right out of the box. Couldn't quite get the intelligent consist to work, but Old Faithful did the job pretty good. So all I did was MU the caboose to the locomotive. And since this isn't a motor, you should be able to do it with Tracksounds and Tsunami combined. So I don't think there'll be an issue with that. If there is, we're going to find out because I'm testing this with more than just my Tsunami fleet. While it's in consist, I'm going to punch in the caboose. So you can still play around with it. Alright guys, the light's dim so we can actually see the lighting functions. We've reached the tail end of this review. And yes, I've been waiting to use that pun the whole video. Overall, I think Athearn knocked it out of the park with this. The detail is the best I've seen on a caboose. Again, second to the Rapido wide visions from years ago, but this runs much better and looks a lot cleaner. The only nitpicks, again, I'll say out of the box, very dim lighting. I had to adjust the sound, so that's of course user preference. But the dim lighting was a bit of a turn off because you kind of want to see your rear end markers on a caboose, or any freight train for that matter. But beyond that, very pleased with this purchase. Again, you guys who are on the fence with price, when you see this car, I think you'll understand because it is, to borrow their punchline, it's much better than brass. I feel better buying a finished, completed car that's fully upgraded for what I did than buying a brass model, painting and decaling, and then fighting with electronics and brass. You'd be crazy not to grab one of these if you are on the fence. And if you see it in person, I think you'll understand it because it is that good looking of a car. So thanks again for watching, guys. I appreciate it, and I hope this is informative in your buying decisions. So until next time. I'm gonna go through the bell options real. Let's go into the outtake reel.